And that is big a relationship with Nike that's going on. Hey, Aaron Judge is at the plate in Cincinnati, and boom, he did it again. Right center field. That seems to be his stroke right now, but that is a bomb. Look, Aaron's got it going right now. He's been swinging it this last week, getting hot, got hot up in Toronto, and he's getting hot again. So, coming off that Aaron Judge home run, we had to give you that little, you can't just pass stars like that without jumping to a real big star himself. Pedro's back with me, Harold here. And Pedro, we have some tweets. First, before we even get to that, I want to ask you, how would you pitch the Judge?
Actually, I'll crowd him. I'll crowd him in.
Yeah.
I'll make sure that I was determined to go in. And then when he gives up on the outside part of the plate, I could probably flip a good breaking ball low or paint black away, but really low. Cross seamers, not two seamers coming back. Cross seamers, cutters, and breaking balls really low because I didn't throw a slider. I would throw cutters, but not sliders. Okay. So I would use the curveball really low from the outside edge of the plate down.
Well, we got tweets pouring in when Adnan said, hey, tweet Pedro. What are you thinking, Adnan? All right, here we go. Here's a question we have come in. Tell us which batters, past and present, you want to the Hall of Famer to share with and would appreciate all that. How would you plan every hitter? Here's the first guy, Tony Gwynn.
Wow, what a tough
how you face Tony Gwynn?
Well, he had my number. I was really young, but if I had known better as I mature, Harold, without a doubt, I'll force him to pull me early, especially with the good
But he wanted to stay there, though.
Yeah, he wanted to stay to the other side, so I will force him to pull me. Since he wasn't a guy that was known to hit 30 jacks, I will probably force him to pull me. I will add and subtract with everything else if he allowed me to actually.
Well, that one you made him ball down and in. He didn't handle it. That one there he did.
Yeah.
Breaking ball.
And that's a.
But you would have got him with a heater in probably as you got a little older, right? Or just put him on.
Because I have some people on base, and most likely the guy that will get a hit of me will be Tony.
You had a no-hitter going that game, right?
No, that wasn't the game.
Oh, that wasn't it? Okay.
I pitched 9 perfect, and then I ended up giving up a hit on the changeup.
You guys had 35 ABs, man. That was pretty impressive. All right, one of your good friends you played with, Manny Ramirez, maybe one of the best right-handers hitters of all time. How would you have faced Manny?
Well, I normally wanted to set some of the stuff early away because I knew Manny was a taker, but then I'll go up and in a lot on Manny. And since he had the big leg kick, normally those guys become vulnerable to changeups. And I was able to do that. I was able to run the 2 seamers into Manny, did not allow him to feel comfortable at any point. And then once he saw that I was determined to be in, those good hitters, you have to just let them know that you at any point could come in. I'll go and settle for the outside.
You're a big believer. Like, we've watched the numbers of fastballs drop. It used to be 60%, 70%, 80%. Now we're down to like 40, 30%, some guys, of fastball.
Unbelievable.
And they don't throw that ball, the fastball, in here anymore.
No.
It seems to be a way. That was your philosophy, right? Was that would you still throw a lot of fastballs in this generation?
I would, yeah. Especially nowadays with the uppercut that these guys have.
I was going to ask you, this swing right here, what I'm watching, I don't see how they can hit an inside fastball consistently.
And not up either. And I was really good at, keeping the ball up and locating that, and also keeping it in the inner part of the plate so that you didn't lean over to the black away, which I was a master. That's where I was a master. Here, I used to my advantage. And most of the time, if you went to swing at those fastballs in here or up in the strike zone, you were doing me a favor because I wanted to make my living on the black away. And I was really good at hitting that black away.
Yeah.
But after I had you convinced that you shouldn't be leaning.
Right. No, I like it. All right, one more tweet. We're going to see what we got here. What hitter is next? Kyle Schwarber. Now, with the Phillies, you saw him in Boston a little bit with the Red Sox, but obviously in the American League for a long period of time before that. All right, what you got with Mr. Schwarbs here? How would you pitch him?
I hate to undress this guy because this is one of the nicest guys in the big leagues, and I love him dearly. But this guy is an enigma hitting. That sounds weird, doesn't it?
You got to explain that to me.
This guy is one of those guys that you can never show like one pattern. And if you go deep into the count with him,
he'll figure it out.
The better he gets and the most dangerous he gets. So this guy will be a guy that I would back and forth with whatever pitch you decide to go. But you must get ahead of him. And it's dangerous, but you can actually add and subtract with any pitch at any time. And especially because he's aggressive. He's going to swing. Right. But you want him to be off his timing a little bit. You want to throw his timing off. And that's what you got to do. You have to add and subtract with each pitch that you throw. And it's vulnerable to either one. Just don't fall behind where he knows what's coming, or don't fall into a pattern.
Yeah. He's a really good hitter.
He's a really good hitter.
A really good hitter. All right,
a lot of power.
I want to end it with this, though. I want to go back to this swing that everybody's doing right here. What I see is they will hit a breaking ball.
Yeah.
But they're not hitting that fastball in. And so you're a master at reading swings. We've gone through the toe taps, the leg kicks, all these different things, take a pitch, all that. Will this change? Will they have to get back to a different swing eventually? Will pitchers make the adjustment?
Not if we continue to bring premature pitchers to the big leagues to just let it eat. If you find guys doing in the minor leagues and doing it in the bullpens and taking the time to repeat, to be repeatable, to throw those fastballs where you mean to throw those fastballs. If it's in, I'd much rather see you hit the batter than to miss over the middle of the plate, because that's dangerous. And then if you're going to go away and your catcher is setting up over there, I don't want you to throw a ball over here. I mean,
you got to throw it where to catch it.
Exactly. You have to hit location. I remember I was told by my coach in the summer league in the Dominican Republic, if you don't know how to command the fastball away and in, you're not making it to the United States.
Yeah. Wow.
It didn't matter how hard you threw. I saw guys 98, 97 that never made it to this side because they never could command or had the IQ to make the adjustment to throw it away when it meant to be away and in when it meant to go in. As far as we have premature pitchers coming up and just throwing hard but not knowing where it's going, a lot of mistakes are going to happen here, and a lot of those barrels are going to find fastballs, mistakes, and sometimes hanging breaking balls because they just don't practice enough, they don't repeat enough, and they don't command enough. If they are able to command the fastball and on up, down, in and out, then they're going to have to make the adjustment.
There you go.
And until we see that, nothing is going to change. And Aaron Judge is going to continue to be the daddy of the entire league.
Hey, Adnan, who's your daddy?
Seriously.